this is the main control panel of the vehicle. It shows you some very key information and allows you to turn the features in the vehicle on and off, and for you to check your levels. So when you see this initial front screen, you can see the temperature inside the van, you can see the temperature of the water, you can see the condition of your two batteries, so the vehicle battery and the leisure battery. You can see your fresh water tank and your wastewater tank, and also in the top right hand corner you can see the plug symbol. And when you see that plug symbol, it shows you that you're plugged into electric and that you're also getting the electric that you're plugged into. So what you do when you're on this screen is you click unlock. It takes you through to this screen here. It's a touch screen and you can move it around, but all that I ever want my guests to concern themselves about is this L here. So starting switches, resources, room climate and hot water. The other settings aren't really required when you're out and about for on holiday. We'll start off with resources. It's very similar to what we'd seen before. It's just an overview of the battery condition, your water tank condition, and it also tells you that you're plugged into electric. So you can see your battery condition here. We know that the batteries charge when you're driving, they charge when you're plugged in, but there's also a solar panel fitted to the vehicle, and they trickle charge off the solar panel as well. You've then got your water tank, so your fresh water tank is at the top and your wastewater tank is at the bottom. So as your fresh water goes down, you know you need to top it up, and as your wastewater goes up, you know you need to release it. In the top right hand corner you've got the symbol for your electric. So again, that's really important, because when you plug in at the campsite, and that shows you that you're not only you're plugged in, but that you're also getting electric. And when you get electric, you can then use that electric for your heating and your hot water. Now that we've seen resources, I'll show you switches. So we'll click on switches, and there you've got three options there. And the first option is your water pump. So when you turn the water pump on, that allows if you've got water in your tank, that will allow the water to flow through your taps. So that's the tap in the kitchen, the tap in the bathroom area, and for your toilet flush, the water pump needs to be on. The outdoor light is literally just a light above the habitation door on the outside, and it's useful in the evening when it gets dark. And then the interior light, and that's like a master switch for the back end of the vehicle. So when you click that, and when you turn your interior lights on, that's like, as I say, turning on the power to the back of the vehicle. So once you've done that, you will find that when you all your other switches that are dotted about the van will start to come to life. So you have lights all about the van, come through here, you light for your shower area, you've got the main light for the bedroom area, you've got lights at the back that turn on, and in the back as well you've got USBs and reading lights above the bed, so you can charge your mobile devices when you're in bed. The light for the toilet is just up here, if anybody's ever looking for it. Back to that control panel, and then we're looking at switches. So we've seen the water pump and how to turn the water on. We've seen the outdoor light and how to turn that light on outside. And as I say, the interior light is like the master switch for the power in the back. The one thing that also powers as well as the light switches is the socket for your TV. So your interior light switch needs to be on for any power to be driven to your TV. If we turn the interior light switch off, the power to the TV will also turn off. So it's important that interior light switch is on if you're going to turn the TV on. So we've looked at resources and switches. So the last two things that I want to look at is room climate and hot water. Room climate, which is what you mostly need in Scotland to turn your heating on. So you click on that and you've got an option to go between heating and ventilation. As I say, the vast majority of the time it's heating that our guests need. So when you click on heating, you see the temperature display in the middle. This temperature here is currently the temperature inside the van, and it works off a thermostat here. Okay, so you would set the temperature that you want inside the van, or the temperature that you don't want the van to drop below. Okay, I recommend leaving it on the comfort setting. The most important thing is this setting at the bottom right hand corner, because this is your power source. So at the moment we are plugged into electric, and we've also got gas, so we've got lots of options. But when you click on this, you've got the option where you can have your electric on and your gas off, or we can turn electric off and have gas on. Okay, and when we do that, you would see this would be changed to gas. So for most of our guests, when you're on a campsite, you have electric. So, and you see the electric symbol showing in or the plug symbol showing in the top right hand corner. So if you do have electric, I would always recommend using the electric for your heating and hot water. So you select 1800 watts, turn your gas off, press back, and then your heating, then you press back again, is on 18 degrees on electric. Okay. If you are informally camping or are parked up and you don't have access to mains electric, when you go into your climate, down in the bottom right hand corner, you would turn your electric off and your gas on, and then press back. It would stay again. You would see it again. It would be on 18 degrees, but this time it's using gas. Hot water is set up the same. Okay, so once you've set up your heating and you go to your hot water, you turn it on, and you'll notice that the power source just replicates the previous power source that you've last selected for your heating. You've got options. You can go eco, comfort, or hot. I always recommend just leaving it on the comfort setting. Your pump needs to be on, which we turned on earlier on, but you can turn it on and off separately from there. But the pump needs to be on to circulate the water. And when you've selected gas and comfort and you can see the red pulse, that means that your hot water is working. So you press back, then you've got your room climate set to 18 and your hot water is now on. The hot water in the van is not like hot water in the house. It'll heat around about 10 to 15 litres of hot water at a time. So if there's 2 people staying in the van, likelihood is you'll get a kind of 2-minute shower each before the hot water will run out, and that you'll need to wait another half hour before it heats up again. So that is why we always recommend, whenever possible, use campsites, use the facilities on the campsites. Then, as I say, it kind of safeguards the facilities inside the van for when they're required. When your heating and hot water's on, it's important before you drive off to go to your next destination, because when you're obviously driving, you need to drive with your gas bottle closed, and you will need to disconnect your electric cable. So before you do these things, so before you go out and close your gas bottle or disconnect your electric cable, you should always go to your heating and turn it off, and go to your hot water and turn it off, and then we'll go outside and we'll close the gas bottle and disconnect the electric cable. We've turned the heating and hot water off inside the van. We're just going to drive off. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. So close your gas bottle. Perfect. Get to your electric cable. Press the button. Disconnect your electric cable. We've got a TV fitted as standard in all our vehicles. The location of the TV versus the location of the drop-down electric bed can be problematic. So it's important that when you pop out the TV, you have to make sure that when you put it back in its bracket, it is as flush as possible. Because as you'll see in a second, when we bring the drop-down electric bed down, it is very, very close to where the TV is located. The drop-down electric bed, again, just being very careful with the TV. You press the button and it just comes down from the roof. Okay, it's in that position there. You keep your ladder on the bed to keep it safe. You can make the bed up, and you don't need to make it every time, but you can make it up, put your pillows there and then put it back into the roof. So you have your ladder there, you connect it in. It gives you nice access up to the bed, and the beds are really, really comfortable. You've got a net underneath here that can be clipped in to these clips here, and that would surround the bed just in case any of our guests feel like they're going to fall out of the bed during the night. That gives you that extra kind of safety and security. So to put it away, you disconnect your ladder, pop the ladder back on, and then press the upward arrow this time, and that takes it all the way up. So when you're raising and lowering the bed, it shouldn't have any person on it, but as I say, in terms of the bedding and things like that, you're fine doing it with the bedding on. As you come through to the back end of the vehicle, you've got your shower and your toilet and sink. It's really, really good for this perspective, because you've got the door here, the toilet door moves round, and it acts as a partition door between the front and the back, so it gives you privacy. As I say, these vans are great for couples, but they're also great for small families or groups of friends, because it gives you the two separate living areas if need be, just by simply opening the toilet door and putting it in that position there. So you've then got your walk-in shower. It just works like a shower in the house. And you've got your touch light there. In the toilet area, you've seen the light earlier on. With these toilets, they're fairly simple to use, but it's key that you use them in the right way. So you've got a lever underneath here, and you've got your hatch here. So you always have to open the hatch first. So you open the hatch, you then use the toilet, flush the toilet. Okay, and then you let the water in the toilet cassette settle in there. Give it a couple of seconds before you close it again. As I say, it's key that you don't use the toilet when it's in that closed position, or it can pile up and then create a mess in the toilet cassette compartment. So that's that there.